Well, hello, man cavers. What are we doing today? We're going to rebuild another Amanco Igniter. Right, let's get on with this job. It is in this little box here. Here we go. Somebody spotted me on YouTube and said, can you just put some mica washers in my igniter? So I see there's some fibre washers been put in there, ill fitting, not the right ones. So we'll get these changed out. This igniter actually looks half decent, apart from that seem to be staying open where mine stay closed. So, and we've got a run pin in there. We'll get this thing stripped down and see what it's like. So guys, the first thing we're going to do is take this pin out of here. I mean, that's one hell of a bent pin, so we've got to get this out here somehow. Let's come out this way. Let's see if we can... Oh, crikey. We'll see if we can whip this pin out. If that's going to come. The spring will unravel. There we go. Now remember this. We take the spring out and this igniter catch. That should be a bit freer on this shaft. Oh, this shaft. Ah, bent, look. This shaft is bent, guys. Look at the bend in that bugger. That's not going to be helping us at all, having this bent shaft, and it's all knurled up there. Very quite pitted on that end, so we need to somehow straighten this shaft a little. So we'll take this shaft right out and see if we can straighten it. I can see now why this igniter was a bit stiff. It's really hard to tell, but that's a straight edge. And as you can see, that should be sticking straight up, and it's going over that way, look. That is very, very bent. Right, so what we've got to do, we'll prise this little tiny spring off here. I can see exactly now why this probably weren't working. We'll put our little spring, we'll put this in our pot. All the bits out of this igniter can go in that pot. Alright, now we've got to undo this lug on the end here. And try and prise this thing off. Now, this shaft is so bent that it's having a job to go. I can't believe the bend in that. I hope you can pick that up on camera, that bend. That is horrific. Right. I don't even know if we're going to get that out of there, because I think there's too much bend in it to slide through. Now, it was coming in just how the mica washer's done, but there's no point sending it back if it isn't going to work. So what we'll do is we'll take this igniter pin out of here. Now, if you want these done professionally, Peter Sewell is your man, because he'll engineer and put new shafts in. He really does go through igniters well, so he is definitely your man if you want these done totally gone through. But I don't mind if you just want a sort of, you know, new washers fitted or a little going over. I'm happy to do them. But if you want a big job, no. Right, we have got to straighten this out, because it's very risky straightening something out on an engine what isn't yours. Because if I break this, it's down to me. But that is not good, having that bend in there. I think we've got to get him in the vise and try and tweak him. I just hope this shaft will bend straight and don't break, but we cannot leave it like that. That is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Yeah, that's not even moving freely. It's starting to snag up in the thing. All right, let's get set up and we'll see if we can straighten that a little. So we've got this arm set up in here. Let's get some heat on it. See if we can heat it and bend it straight. If that was my own engine, I'd probably have done this cold, but it's someone else's engine and I don't want to risk damaging anything. So let's get her hot and see if we can straighten her a bit. I don't want to get that red hot, so we're going to leave that there and we'll try and tweak this over. That is not straightening at all. Alright, she started to go, guys. Let me keep tweaking on this thing. Let me keep tweaking on this and we'll see if we can get this out and get this straight. I've got to let that cool down a minute. Right, man cavers, after half an hour of messing about, I've got the shaft out. But as you can see, I don't know whether you can see this, let me get a straight edge. You'll see there's still quite the bend in that. Right, let's hold it up to the window, look. Let's come up to the window so you can see a bit of daylight. Where are we? Can you see? There we go. There you go. There. We are on top and you can see it's touching each end. Daylight. So I need to straighten that a bit more and then clean this shaft up. Now I think the best way to straighten this is to put it on the anvil of the vise and give it a gentle tap, and then we can perhaps get a bit of emery cloth and spend a bit of time I'm just eyeing it up to the glass to see if we've got it. That isn't actually too far out. I think I'm running my eye over it. That's certainly close. Right, there we are. But the good thing is, our points now, we can get to them to make them really good, because they are quite pitted in there. So we will, while we've got this thing in a vise, I think what we're going to do is give these a little clean up. There they are. So guys, let's give this thing a little bit of a clean up. Just see if we can make these points just a little bit better. Oh. Oh yeah. So I'll get that pitting out of there. Oh, that's coming. There we go. Get ourselves a nice beveled edge on here, nice flat surface, because we're using a flat file here. There we go, a little bit more to come off, I think. There you go. Alright, we have cleaned this point surface up, so that is lovely and clean now. And I think we need to have a little play with the shaft. So here we go. Let's see if we can clean this shaft up. Here we go. There. Right, let's get my cleanest dirty rag on this. And we want to feel this for any imperfections. There's a little shoulder there where that goes through. So we're just going to deburr a little to take that wear mark out of there. Go and mask really lightly with a file. We don't want to take much off, or else they'll be playing the igniter. There we go. That feels pretty damn good. There we go. And we'll just put a chamfer around the top so it'll slide back in easy. I don't think there's a burr on this, but just to avoid doubt, we'll do it. There we go. Alright. There we go. Let's give this a test fit and see if it slides back through this igniter body. Where's the igniter body? Here it is. That is very tight going through there, but that's not a bad idea, that's tight. We have got the bend out of it, which is good. Yeah, that bender's definitely out of that. I don't know whether you can see what I'm doing here. Right, I think we need to... Let me get a little ream and just clean that hole out, because that's probably as gunky and as greased up as this was. So let me get a pipe cleaner through that. So here we go, we've got a little rat tail file. And we'll spend 10 minutes just nipping around the outside of this. I can feel a lot of crud and burring. That is not running at all smooth through that tube. Oh yeah, I can feel that's going to go back in there a treat soon. Yeah. Let me have a little play. For another, I don't know, probably going to take me another 20 minutes. But if you can see through there, there's a lot of scoring in there. Where crap over the years has got through there. And I can feel it catching on the file. But you've got to be so careful you don't take too much out, which will introduce play. So leave this thing to me, and we'll be back when this shaft is going through there nicely. Right guys, it's been a few minutes, but we have got the shaft so it comes through the hole nicely. Excellent stuff. Right, I think we need to get this thing back together and put them new washers in. There we go. There we go. All together. And now, nice and straight. No problems at all with it. Excellent stuff. Right, let's get her reassembled. Now if you're wondering about the other side of the contact set, that's just, there's no flat on there, it is just a round piece. So that should just lie on there. It's crude, these are very rudimentary, so it'll work. Right, let's get this roughly back in its place, and then we'll get them mica washers in there to see if we can line it up to see how many mica washers we need. So let's start with, how many is there? One, two, three, 5. So there's 5 that side. Let's put it in. There you go. So 5 is perfect. By the time that's tightened down, it'll be flush. It'll be fine. So we want 5 that side, and we're probably going to want 5 the other side. You've got to keep these washers very clean. How many we got on there? 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 more there. 7. No, I think we need a few more of them. There's another 3 here. 10. We'll go 1 more for luck. 11. You want them protruding a little bit because you need to put this on, and this mustn't touch the body, and we do need to tighten it down with the nut. Hence why you need them protruding just a little. So we've got our brass piece on. We can now put these in. Don't need to give them a massive 4-penny go, just a little bit. So these have not got to be crazy tight at all. There, nipped. Nipped plus a little. Make sure you are insulated between your brass and your body, or you'll just go short. Check our points. I've got a nice place, which they are, closing nicely. So now we can get the rest of this igniter back together. And hopefully it'll work just a little bit better than it did. Oh, now I've straightened that shaft and deburred. Look how well that goes. I am going to loosen off this grub screw, because I don't like how that grub screw is really tight in there. I think the best thing to do with this is heat the hell out of it and work it in and out a bit. Don't damage the little tab what the spring goes on. So let's get a bit of heat. See if we can heat that grub screw up. So the last thing I want to do, especially on someone else's igniter, is damage things. Oh, that is so tight, that grub. I don't like it. I do not like how that's going. That, you know, when you do something that just don't feel right. This is one of them times it just doesn't feel right. No, that is so tight in there that it's a job to tighten it. Right, we've got a little bit of movement. Right, I'm going to have to do a bit more fettling till that grub screw comes out of there, because I do not want to risk that ringing off. Because I am putting quite a bit of stick. Ha ha ha! There we go. She's breaking loose. So let's wind him out a bit. Don't want it all the way out, just a little. If it does come all the way out, it don't really matter. Right, that's probably at the end of its thread. Let's give him a wire brush up, because there'll be carbon. 100 years of carbon will have blown up beside them threads, causing that to be tight. There we go. That is winding back in there, guys, nicely. Oh, she's starting to get tight again. But as long as it's going through the hole, thank you. That isn't working its way back through that hole yet. Oh, that's going tight as that's going through that hole. Alright, let me have a play with this. I'm going to have to take this right out. Yeah, I'm going to have to take this right out and thoroughly clean through that hole where them threads go. Because for some reason this nut does not want to wind in. I have a sneaky feeling it's because it's chamfered on this end. As you can see, there's a little dimple in there where it's been tightened onto that shaft for years. So I think, even though we've got her out, we'll just go around the top of this thread, because I have a feeling that's like burred over. I can't see any damage in them threads. So I'm hoping it's just a little bit knurled up on this end where it's been nipping for years. There we go. Let's give that a wipe and see if it goes back in here all right. Oh, it's going in behind now. Right, will that come all the way through the hole? So let's put our... Oh, that is going in so much easier now. Is it going to go all the way through? We want it a little bit tight, because that'll actually hold it so it don't shudder loose. Alright, as that started to go through that hole. Not quite. Let me have a fiddle. Get that threading in there nice. wire brush. Clean them threads out. That's still going very tight. Very tight. Right. Right, that's virtually all the way through there now, guys. Which is perfect. There we go. Right guys, we have got the little shaft bolted back in. That all moves free, nice open points now. So now what we can do is we can get the rest of this back together. So we'll get our spring on, little end on there, big end on there. That feels quite loose, if I'm honest. But we can set that up once we've got the main cap back on. So we'll go back in our jug. We'll put this piece back on, then our spring, locating it in its hole. And then we've got to twist round and put a split pin through that. Let's find the right size split pin first. That one's a little bit sloppy. Ah, there's the size we want. Yep, that's the one. Now we've got to bend this little eye around the end so we can get the split pin through the hole. So we've got to bend that eye around in the spring. There you go. Split pin is in and bent round. There we are. Now let's see what we're like for tension. Right, that is that's not right at all. That's like half open. And the springs come off. There ain't enough. We've got to adjust this cam here. Because when it's held like this, these points should be held shut slightly. And then when this flicks, it knocks them open and the spring pulls them back. Hang on, was that spring just on the wrong side there? No. Right, we've got to do some adjustment on this cam. So let me get this adjustment. Can you see what I mean? The spring was holding these open like so. That's not good. The spring should be holding them closed. And when this thing flicks and bumps, this momentarily goes back, causes the spark and close again. So these should be closed until this sparks. See what I mean? So let me have a muddle with this cam to move this thing about till that's right. Right, here we go guys. We are finally back together. So our points are now closed, where when it arrived here they were staying sort of sloppy and open. They shouldn't be like that. They should be closed. So when this thing springs back, when you strike your catches and let that go, this thing flies back and really quickly Open and close them points in the blink of an eye. And that's just enough to give you your spark. See what I mean? Your striker comes, pushes this back, it goes back, and when that goes click, that's when it sparks, because this flies open for a split second. Just enough to give you that spark. Shall we? Let me try and put this on super slow motion. See if we can pick that up. I doubt we will. Let's experiment and try that. Hang on a second. So guys, I have just inserted a slow motion clip in here, and if you look carefully you can see that just tick on, spring open, tick on, just enough to give you a spark when that springs back. I did it in slow motion and you can just see this open. It only got to open a point gap. That's it guys. Right, that is this igniter. She's done with her mica washers. We've straightened this shaft out because that was totally mullered. We've deburred it. Everything's now nice and smooth. So I think we can now just tidy this split pin up. Yep, we can just tidy this split pin up and then get it back to the gentleman. Right, thanks very much for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a very DIY fix on an igniter. It's not a full rebuild. For that you do need someone like Peter. But for somebody who just wants an igniter, having a quick look over, setting up, new washers, there you go. That's all you need to do. Right, I shall see you later guys. That's looking beautiful. Bye bye for now. Ah.